So now that we know what arithmetic sequences are, so for example, 2, 4, 6, 8 continues on. Now what we want to do is what would happen if I add a finite number of numbers? So let's say I added the first 20 numbers of this sequence. Now, one thing that I don't want to do is I want to write down all the numbers and then just add them together. I do want to come up with a formula. Now, there is a formula for this, and this formula you do not need to remember. You do, however, need to know this. The arithmetic sequence, I do want you to memorize this. This one you don't need to memorize. So this one is S sub n. S sub n here stands for sum. So this is going to be the sum of first n numbers is going to be equal to n divided by 2, a1 plus an. Okay, so this is the sum or the partial sum for arithmetic sequences. So if I'm given an arithmetic sequence and if I want to add the first n numbers, then all I got to do is just use this formula. Okay, so let's do a couple of examples. So find the sum of the first 30 terms of the arithmetic sequence. Okay, so here's my first problem. It's going to be 8, 13, 18, 23, 28, so on and so forth. Okay, so I want to add up the first 30 terms. Now, the first thing that you need to do is find the formula, which in this case is going to be S sub n is equal to n over 2, a1 plus an. That's going to be my formula. Now, what is n in this case? N is going to be just 30 because that's the first 30 terms. Okay. Now, a1 is going to be the first term. In this case, the first term is just going to be 8. And all we need to figure out is what an is. Well, n is 30, so we need to figure out what exactly is the 30th term. So we can try to figure that out. Because we have everything, we're ready to plug everything in, but we just need to figure out what a30 is. Well, I know that the general form of an arithmetic sequence is an equals a1 plus n minus 1 times d. So I'm going to plug everything in there. I'm going to have a30 equals a1, which in this case is 8, plus 30 minus 1 times d. So what is going to be the common difference? Well, the common difference, I can just take a2 minus a1. So take the second term, which is 13 minus 8. This is just going to give me 5. So that means every single time I'm adding a 5. Adding 5 to each of them. So the common difference in this case is going to be a 5. So what is the 30th term? So let's plug this into the calculator. So you're going to have 8 plus 29 times 5, which is going to give me 153. So the 30th term, 830, is going to be 153. So now we have all the information that we need in order to find the sum. So the sum of the first 30 terms is going to be equal to n is 30, 30 divided by 2. a1 is going to be 8, plus an, which is in this case a30, is going to be 153. So now let's plug this into the calculator. So 30 divided by 2, and then 8 plus 153. That's going to give us 2,415. That is going to be my solution. Okay, now let's do another problem. Let's say we have 7, 10, 13, 16, so on and so forth. So we still want to figure out the sum of the first 30 terms. So we know what the formula is for the sum of arithmetic sequences. This is going to be arithmetic because you can see that d is going to be a2 minus a1. The second term is 10 minus 7 gives me 3. So everything is being added by 3. You can clearly see that. So we know that is arithmetic. Now what we want to do, we know that the formula is S sub n equals n over 2, a1 plus an. N in this case is still 30 because we're summing the first 30 terms. A1 is going to be 7 because that's the first term. We know what D is. D in this case is equal to 3. N in this case is 30. So what is A30 in this case? Well, I don't know what A30 is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in to the sequence formula. An equals A1 plus n minus 1 times D. So we have 830 equals A1 plus 30 minus 1 times D. And let's plug everything in there. A30 equals A1, which is 7, plus 29 times D, which is equal to 3. So I'm going to take my calculator, take 7 plus 29 times 3. That's going to give me 94. So A30 is 94. And all I got to do is now plug everything in there. So S sub 30 is going to be equal to 30 divided by 2. A1 is 7 plus A30, which in this case is 94. I'm going to put this into my calculator. And what I'm going to get is 15. So this is going to be my final solution.